this year at the golf tournament. He loved golf. He loved this golf tournament, and he was really good at it. You know, his team won last year. So, and they say that the way that you act on the golf course is a reflection of your character in life. And for Ben, that was absolutely true, because he was the most positive person that I ever golfed with. Even if the game wasn't going his way, he was still having a good time. And that's how he lived his life. He was full of joy, and he was a glass half full type of guy. When we moved from South Boston out this way to raise a family, we were so lucky that we ended up in a core town where our daughter was selected in the AMSA lottery to attend, and then 2 years later our son could go. And what we were looking for with AMSA was a challenge for them in math and science, which we absolutely found. But we quickly realized that AMSA was so much more than that. Like, they say that it takes a village to raise a family, and it does. And AMSA quickly became part of that village, especially during COVID when we had to go remote, and then the transition back to in-school learning. Like, AMSA was part of our extended family. And when Ben told me he was considering being part of the board, and I'm pretty sure that that conversation started on a golf course with somebody, I forget who, but I was stressed out. I said, Ben, how are you going to handle that with your job and the kids' schedule? I know how much effort it takes to be on a committee like that. And Ben being Ben, he told me, don't worry about it. I can handle it, you know, which he could, because he could juggle a lot of things and, you know, wear a lot of hats and do it well. But he told me that it was important to him because he wanted to have an impact at AMSA that wasn't just for our children, but was for the whole village. And that's really, he put all of his effort into that. If you've ever been in a meeting with Ben or had a conversation with him, you know that he asks a lot of questions. Like, a lot of questions, rapid fire, and I'm sure that he did this in board meetings. But his reason for asking questions is because he cared so much, and he wanted us to all come up with a solution, like the best way to do things, and where we've seen all the possibilities, and that was always his goal with everything that he was doing. So I hope the board will continue in that spirit and continue to ask those tough questions. But I hope even more, like, the students at AMSA could feel bold enough to raise their hand and ask those tough questions. And if you do it with a smile on your face, the way Ben always did, people are going to answer you. And if you don't like the answer, or you don't get enough the first time, then you ask another question, and another question, and another question, you know, just like he would do. Like I said, Ben loved the celebration. He was always, you know, up for a party. And that's been really hard right now because we're mourning and we miss him, and we're going to miss him every day for the rest of our lives. And if you're feeling that way, the way that I am, I'll just offer you the advice that I give myself. And it's, I ask the best question that I can think of, and I say, what would Ben do? And when I get that answer, then I can keep going. So what would Ben do right now? He'd raise his glass and say, cheers to AMSA and the PTO. We love you. We miss you forever. Thank you.
Cheers. Cheers.